Hello everybody and welcome to episode 9 of the Little Black Cat Knits podcast. You'd think I would remember the name of my podcast. It's been 2 weeks since I last recorded. I'm a little rusty, I guess. But I didn't really have too much content to film last week, so that's why I pushed it off. Anyway, it is Monday, March 30th, 2020. My name is Ashley. I am the host of this podcast, which is a podcast all about knitting, crochet, and sometimes cross-stitch and sewing, basically any kind of crafty thing I happen to be doing at the time. I am coming to you from, wow, I can't. I'm coming to you from New Jersey, where I live with my husband, my 2 sons, and my little black cat, who's right there. That's Licorice. What, baby? What? So yeah, I haven't done this in 2 weeks, so I'm a little out of practice. Oh, where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram as Gatti Yarn Co, on Etsy as Gatti Yarn Co, on Ravelry as AM Gatti, and there is also a group for this podcast on Ravelry. If you go to groups and search for the Little Black Cat Knits podcast, the group for this podcast will come up. All show notes for this episode will be listed in the Ravelry group. And if you don't feel like searching for any of those things, you can always go down to the description box below where I will have links for everything. And that being said, let's jump into stuff. I don't have any FOs this week. Which is kind of funny because first whip I'm going to talk about, I've been pushing myself to try to get it done in time to podcast. But it's at a point now where the rows are very, 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 very long, and it's taking me a while to actually get through it. So yeah, it's a bunch of whips today. Just a lot of whips. A couple new cast-ons from the last podcast. Yeah, we've got tons of whips, and let's just get started. So the first whip, which is Squeaky, I'm sorry, did I scare you? The first whip I have been working on, and this is the one I have been trying to finish as quickly as possible, is, oh gosh, don't want to drop the stitch, don't drop the stitch, is Bruce's Spider-Man blanket. And this is the Superhero Daydream Afghan by Stitch and Frog. I know it's by Stitch and Frog. I'm pretty sure that is the correct order of words for the name of this. It'll be in the show notes, and I'm going to put the name of it right down here somewhere at the bottom of the screen. Anyway, you guys know the drill by now. But yeah, this is Bruce's, oh no, I'm stuck, Spider-Man blanket, and it is gigantic. And I have 10 rounds left. And then all I have to do is add the web connecting black threads in between here, and then it'll be done. And I'm very close to finishing it, and like I said, I wanted to get it done before this podcast, but the rows are getting really long. And yeah, so I I'm crocheting this completely out of Red Heart yarn. The colors are red, blue, and black. I am crocheting this on a 5mm crochet hook. I have no idea what letter that is. But yeah, it's mindless. It's been flying, and it's really pretty much what it's been getting most of my attention, at least the past couple of days, because like I said, I want to get it done. Bruce has been begging me for it, and the quicker I get this done, the quicker I can, oh no, sneeze. Excuse me, the quicker I get this done, the quicker I can start my next crochet blanket project. Yeah, so that's this. This is the first on the whip parade. see if I can get this back in here the way it was before without making too much of a mess. Oh look, my hair everywhere, all over the place. I swear, I find my hair on everything. This is insane. Anyway, that's living in this giant Spider-Man bag. Yeah. Everything's living in giant bags right now because I don't own project bags big enough to fit blankets and stuff. And I keep saying to myself, Ashley, why don't you do some sewing now that you have all the time in the world? And then I don't. It's my own fault. Anyway, moving right along. That was crochet. We're gonna stick to knitting. We'll do cross stitch last. Let me just organize my life here a little bit. All right. Okay. So the next whip is living in this Vans bag, and it is the Bloomsbury Kids sweater by. Hold on. Getting there. Oh boy, I should really write things down. Don't you think? But no. Alright, so it's Bloomsbury Kids by Svetlana. Yeah. And I cast this on and started knitting it for my best friend's daughter. And this is it so far. I cast this on and did the entire top. And now I've separated for the sleeves, and I'm just trucking along on the body. And yeah, just been working on this. Oh no, dropped a stitch. So yeah, I've been trying to get this done quickly because, like I said, I promised my friend sweaters for her daughter for Christmas. And it's the end of March. Okay, I am knitting this on size US 9, 5.5 millimeter needles. I have no idea what yarn this is. It was Deep Stash. I'm pretty sure it was probably Karen 1 pound in white. This was just chilling in my stash, so yeah, I stash dove for 2 of these whips. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure this was the Karen 1 pound in white. That sounds right to me. But yeah, so that's just all that's going on this. It's nice because it's like semi-mindless. There is a little bit of concentration, at least for me, because I haven't memorized the pattern too much yet for the lace that goes down the sweater. So it's like interesting enough where like I can sit and watch a movie and do it because I'm only glancing at the lace chart every so often. But for the most part, other than that, it's pretty mindless because I'm in the body, so it's just nothing but stockinette, with the exception of the lace chunk in the center there. But yeah. That's that. That was a new cast on. This is actually, these whips are pretty much all new cast ons actually, now that I think about it. So the next whip is living in this giant bag because God forbid I buy bags big enough for sweaters. And God forbid I don't use giant big box store yarns to knit them, because that is part of the reason why these things live in these bags. Anyway, this is the I want to get the name right here. This is the Mrs. Weasley's Home Knit Christmas Sweater, designed by Marta Schmarta. Looks like the... And this is in the Harry Potter Knitting Magic book by Tanis Gray. And I'm very excited. This is my first project out of this book. And of course it had to be a Weasley sweater. And I just want to say this sweater is a long time coming. I bought this yarn, oh my god, not long after I learned how to knit, and I said to myself, I want to knit a sweater, and I want my first sweater to be a Weasley sweater, and I could not, for the life of me, find a pattern that made sense, basically because it was my first time attempting to knit a sweater, and then I promptly gave up and didn't think about sweaters for another like 6 months probably. But I bought this yarn then, and it's been sitting in my stash just waiting to become a Weasley sweater. And I couldn't find a pattern I liked, and I couldn't find one that actually gave you the alphabet to do whatever letter you wanted as the, you know, the letter on the front of the sweater. And as much as I would be like okay with like an H or an R, like I wanted to be able to put an A on it. And at the time I was not an experienced enough knitter to be like, yes, I can figure out how to put my own letter on the front. I was not about to do that. My confidence level was not high enough for that. And then this glorious book came out. And since before Christmas, I've pretty much only been knitting on things for other people, with the exception of a few little things here and there for myself. And I finally said, you know what? I deserve a Harry Potter sweater, and that I'm gonna knit it for myself, and that's what's happening. Guys, that's what happened. So I cast this on a little while ago, and I'm on the back piece right now. I'm in the middle of a row because I don't have any needle stops, so I always knit like halfway through the row so I don't lose stitches. But yeah, look at it. This sweater is knit in pieces and then seamed together. I need to stop getting celebrities like tweets on notification, because I'm like, oh, Chris Evans tweeted, and then I have to try to like read it like, stop, Ashley, you're podcasting, Chris Evans can wait. Anyway, yeah, so I am working on the back piece right now, and it is ribbing and then some stackinette for miles and miles and miles and miles. I think it's like 15 or 16 inches for whatever. And I am knitting these on 5.5 millimeter needles. US 9, right? Good thing I've got the book. I'm terrible at like needle sizes, guys. This is bad. Yeah, US 9. The cuff was knit on a US 7, 4.5 millimeter needle, and being a proud Slytherin myself, I of course have to knit my sweater in Slytherin colors. Yeah, so these, once again, like I said, they've been in my stash for, like, oh my god, I've been knitting for like, going, how old is Bruce? Bruce will be 5. I taught myself how to knit when I was pregnant with him, so I've been knitting for like 6 years, and we're almost 6 years, I should say. So Lord knows what this is. Tags are long gone. I'm 99% sure it's like a red heart jumbo, probably in like forest green or something like that, or like emerald, or like whatever they would call it. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I could be completely wrong. I do have the ball band for the gray though. The gray is Loops and Threads Impeccable in the True Gray colorway. Yeah. I'm so excited for this one. I have not been working on it recently, just because I feel like I have a lot of really big things on the needles right now, but also because in an attempt to make sure everything is the same on these things, I have been trying to keep track of, because the way the pattern is constructed, let me see how I can say this without giving away stuff, because you have to buy the book to get the pattern. Anyway, I've been keeping track of how many rows I'm knitting until I get to the recommended length before like the next step. So I haven't really been knitting on this much because lately, the past couple days, but it's also been because I've been trying to work on Bruce's blanket, but also because every time I finish a row I write it down so I can keep track of how many rows I'm knitting, like, if that makes sense. I don't have a row like clicker tracker thing. Should probably invest in one of those. It would probably make my life a lot easier than having to constantly open up the notes app on my phone and be like, oh, one more. You know what I mean? I'm like really weirdly like anal with like how I keep track of things. Like, if you guys could see my my notes. Actually, I could probably show you my notes because it's really like, it's not gonna make any sense to you. But like, if you look at the, this is like ridiculous. Where is it? Where am I? So like this is how I keep track of everything. It's like what? This is how I keep track of my rows, guys. It's ridiculous. And my husband's always like, you're on your phone all the time. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I am keeping track of rows. That is what's happening right now. But yeah, so every time I finish a row, I check it. I have to write it down. But with all my other stuff, it's the same thing. It's like I keep track of a row and then I have to delete it. But, so yeah, I really have not been working on this. I cast it on and I did all of this pretty much in like 2 days. And yeah, well, now I'm working on it, of course, because I picked it up and I remembered how bad I want this sweater, so here it goes. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah. Next whip is living in this bag I made myself, which if I could like get my ass in gear and actually do some sewing, I will make more bags. Because I've got some Frozen 2 fabric that I've been dying to use. Anyway. Living in here is the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Socks by Danielle George. And I'm just still moving along on the, where is this yarn coming? There we go. Still moving along on the foot. I don't know if I've even gotten much farther than I was last time I showed you guys, but yeah, so just moving right along on the foot. Still on the first sock. And I'm knitting these on Chiaogu 9-inch circulars in size 2.25mm US 1 out of the Loops and Threads Impeccable Perfect Pair in the Glory Days colorway. Boom! I didn't have to check any of that. Go me! Alright, the next thing I'm working on, I actually just started this today? Yesterday? I knew exactly when I started this. Let me scroll through my text message conversation with Nicole, because I sent this to her right after I started it. When did I start these socks? Yesterday, I guess? Yeah, okay. I started them yesterday. I had to send them to Nicole because I am knitting these out of leftovers from socks I knit her. So, yeah, these are... I am knitting my first ever pair of Rose City Rollers by... Who wrote the pattern? Rose City Rollers by Mara Catherine Briner. Yeah, so I started these yesterday and I'm on the heel flap. Let's roll that out there. Yeah. So I am knitting these also on Chiaogu 9-inch circulars, size 2.25mm US 1 needles. I am knitting this out of Once Upon a Corgi in the Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica colorway. Like I said, these are scraps, or not scraps, it's leftovers from when I knit Nicole a pair of socks out of this yarn. I don't have a scale, so I have not weighed this, so I'm not entirely sure how much is left, but just going by visual, it should be enough for a pair of Rose City Rollers, which is why I picked them. But yeah, so I just started this yesterday, and I'm just moving right along. Simple, easy, I'm already on the heel flap. It's beautiful. Yeah. I bought this yarn, oh my god, years ago now. It's probably like 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 3 years ago? It's been a while. This was one of the first hand-dyed yarns I ever purchased. But yeah, I bought it to knit Nicole socks out of it because she loves The Office, and Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. That's a Dwight Schrute reference. Which is actually, I actually call these my Dwight socks. And when she texts me that she's wearing the ones that I gave her, she's like, I'm wearing the Dwight socks. That's what we call them. So figured I needed my own pair of Dwight socks, and they are living in this beautiful pineapple bag, which I made because it reminds me, the pineapples remind me of the show Psych. The best show ever. Anywho, moving right along. That's all the knitting and crocheting I've been doing. That was a very loud water bottle crinkle. I am sorry. Yeah, the only other thing I have been working on is I have been doing some cross stitching. This is living in a beautiful bag by Stars Hollow Stitchery on Etsy. I am working on, where's the cover sheet? I'm working on the Chalk for the Home Sunflower Manor by Hands On Design and Priscilla Blaine. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's all done. I'm working on this for my mother-in-law. It was supposed to be a Christmas gift, and now it will be a Mother's Day gift. It's on hold again. So when I first started it, it was put on hold because I miscounted, and then I tried to rip out, and then I ripped out. The thread had an issue, so I had to order more of that thread. So when that thread came in, I kept going, and now I'm having an issue with another one of the threads. And an order for that has been placed, along with a lot of fabric. I ordered enough stuff to start a quilt. We will talk about all this in chatter at the end. But so now it is on hold again until that order comes in. So, oh, I can keep this folded in half, perfect. So this is how much is done now. I think last time I showed it, I know for a fact I hadn't even started the green, like, filling in here and like the grass and stuff. I know for a fact that hadn't been started last time I showed it. But I can't remember how much of the white was done. But so yeah, this is how much is done as of now. I am stitching this on 14 count chalkboard Aida, and I am using some of the called for threads, some not called for threads, mainly because some of the called for threads that I wanted to use were not in stock. So I did some substitutions, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So basically, if I've been feeling like cross-stitching, this is what I have been working on. Because Mother's Day is inching closer and I want to get it done. I don't think I'll frame it. Well, it really all depends on what's going on with coronavirus and when things will open up again. If I'll frame it or if I will just give it to her unframed and have her take it to the framer to get framed. Either way, working on this whenever I feel like cross-stitching because I want to try to get it done as quick as possible. And yeah, that is that for my crafty content. I really have not, that's all I've been working on. I'm like acting like I did nothing, and like I showed you guys what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whips of things I've been working on, and I'm acting like I did nothing. It feels like I did nothing because every day is a blur now. So if you just came to hang out for the crafty content, that is all of that, and thank you so much for coming to hang out with me, and I will see you next time. If you care to know what's going on with me in life, then wait, no, I lied. I have an acquisition. No. You know what? I'm going to save that for next week because I have another thing coming in, and it would be easier if I just showed them both together. So we'll just scratch that. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. If you care about life and what's going on with me, we'll get into that now. As we all know, the entire country is practicing social distancing and self-isolation and all that because of COVID-19. And obviously New Jersey is no different. I have not left my house in 14 days. I'm going a little stir crazy. Nothing feels real right now. He's just a baby. It also kind of feels like this is never going to end. Trying to get groceries has been an absolute nightmare. I won't go to the store, and my husband won't go to the store either, so we've been trying to do everything primarily online. And that was a nightmare. There was no slots up until through like April like 10th to get groceries delivered, so we had to kind of make do and order some perishables from one of the delis in town, and then placed a Walmart order for some non-perishables that they would ship to home, and the selection was not that great. It wasn't like the selection you would have if you were to do pickup. Yeah, so we placed an order the other day. Everything should be coming in between Wednesday and the 9th. Like I said, it's all non-perishable, so I'm really not worried about it. It's just like snacks for the kids and everything like that. It's pretty much, we've really just been hanging out at home. Keith's had the news on pretty much 24/7. It's causing me a lot of anxiety. And yeah, there's no structure in our house anymore. The only person who has any structure is Paul. He's the only one who's on a schedule anymore. Bruce's schedule is so far out the window. There's been a lot of video games happening, a lot of kind of just expend your energy as best you can going on. Bedtime is, I don't think bedtime exists anymore. I send him to bed at 8 o'clock when he's supposed to go to bed, but he never goes to sleep until like 11:30, and he insists on sleeping in my room, and it's a very weird time right now. We've been trying to keep up with school for him as best we can. I mean, he's only in pre-K, so it's kind of just, we try to get him to write his letters and, numbers and counting and the ABCs and everything. But we've actually been implementing science class, which has consisted of a lot of old episodes of Bill Nye the Science Guy from like when I was a kid, and episodes of How It's Made, which is actually funny because Bruce really like is obsessed with how it's made, because he's always asking me and Keith like, oh, how do you make this? How do you make that? So we turn it into science class, and we put on an episode of How It's Made, and like I said, we have notebooks where he tries to do his letters, and we do art class where I set up his little PJ Masks table and his watercolor paints and stuff. So we're trying to, it's hard, it's weird. Like I said, nothing really feels real. And I know I'm not the only person going through this. I know like everybody is. It's weird and it's scary, and I hate it. I haven't seen my mom in like a really long time. But yeah, I mean, now it's kind of just a waiting game of waiting for deliveries to show up, and later we have to place an order for stuff for Bruce's Easter basket, because everything's kind of on lockdown still through April 30th, and we don't want him to not get an Easter basket, even though we won't really be able to do Easter dinner, which sucks because it's Keith's favorite holiday. But we can't get food, so not that we can't get food, but it's like I can't get a ham and like the things I need for Easter dinner. They wouldn't be here on time if I tried. So yeah. In less depressing news, in the spree of ordering things, I placed an order with Fat Quarter Shop for, like I said, another skein of the thread for Keith's mom's cross stitch. But I also ordered all the fabric I need to make my first quilt. I have been dying to make a quilt, and I've been talking about making a quilt for like a year now, and I said to myself, you know what? I've got this time now. I'm making a damn quilt. So I am making, let's see. Right, listen. I know I sent a picture of this quilt to Nicole. Don't act like I didn't. This is frustrating. Okay, hold on. Get in there, guys. Just don't you worry. Did I delete it? Hang on. It'd be really nice if I was like prepared, you know, for once. Recently deleted. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be making this quilt, and the fabric line I ordered for it is this. And I also ordered a yard of like an off-white for that background fabric, because I figured an off-white would look better than like a stark white. And then I believe the red stars is what I bought for backing, and the one right next to it, that like blue, is what I bought for binding. I also bought batting. The only thing I forgot to buy was basting pins, which I'm actually going to be placing an order with Michaels today to get basting pins and the rest of the yarn that I need for my American flag blanket that I don't have enough of. So that will be later on today. I will be placing that order. Wait, I don't need these anymore. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so I'll be placing that order in a little bit. And yeah, that is pretty... Oh, Paul pulls himself up to standing now. That came out of nowhere. The kid won't crawl to save his life. He's like this close to crawling. Like he will, like, the way he gets himself back to sit up is like if he falls over, he will like get it. So if he falls on his back, he'll flip himself to his front, and then he'll like pull his legs up so that he's like on all fours, and then like shift himself and like stick his butt really high in the air and then shift himself and like sit. Like that's how he gets himself to sit back up. And when he like, but when he's like halfway to that process, he'll be on his like hands and knees, and he starts shuffling his legs to get his legs back so he can sit. And I'm like, just move him forward and then you'll go. Because like how he gets himself around is he will just like sit down and then like twist his body and then like throw himself down and then get back up and like twist his body. It's like, I'm gonna have to take a video and like insert it sometime because it's freaking hilarious. But yeah, we recently discovered now he likes to pull himself up. He can pull himself up to standing, and he does it in his playpen constantly. So yeah, he can do that now, but he refuses to crawl. I guess I should count my blessings because I don't have to worry about baby proofing too much right now. On top of that, he also got 4 new teeth up top. He started eating those little like puff cereals. We're starting that stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He does not have a single article of 9 to 12 month old clothing. So a lot of that was included in our giant Walmart order that we placed the other day. And yeah, pretty much covers it. Yes, baby, what? What? Do baby what? You say hi? You say hi? Say hi? Say hello? Say hello? Yeah, I think that about covers everything. Hopefully it will be 1 week until the next podcast and not 2 again, but we shall see how much stuff I get done. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I always love hanging out and chatting and talking with you guys. So speaking of, if you like hanging out and talking to me, chatting, hanging out with me, while I talk about my knitting, you can hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell. Then you get notified every time I upload new videos, which is always fantastic, which is usually I try for every week. Sometimes it's every 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that's everything. What? So yeah, thanks for hanging out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Happy knitting. Bye.